See if anybody's on here. Just coming on here live now. Gonna see what we were working with. I think tonight probably like an hour and a half. If people show up. I'm gonna cut it down a little bit tonight, but see what's up. See what we're working with. Some interesting tidbits and things going down. So we're gonna see what we working with. Let's see what we're working with. Let's see what we got. Low key and in the place to be, and we're gonna see what the conversation's gonna be in the happening. It's kind of like putting things out there. Pretty quiet so far, but we'll see. Just low key. What's up? What's up? How's it going? Just got on. I think tonight I'm gonna do like an hour and a half, but let's see what's up. Let's see what we got, what we working with. I saw that you made that comment on that video, but it's not a butter and a bone with him. His is I think it's a little bit more etched out than that. It's not quite that because his situation is more serious. I think that when he didn't he the thing is that video was damaging. I saw it. But the problem he run into, the thing is that just goes to show that he already got his boom moment. He got his boom moment. What you mean? He already got it. When he couldn't break 10% on the when he couldn't break 10% on the Republican Party for his run, he got his boom moment. He got it already. He didn't get invited to that cookout. He didn't get to come to the latte. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's that delusional though. I don't think there's and because he gotta know he ain't that deep. He gotta know. Now Candace Owens got the boom. I can tell you who got the boom. That was the boom. No, when it's white folks, I call it going to the latte. When I say like on the Starbucks, cookout's different. Yeah, especially when it's like Post Malone. I did that video about Post Malone today. He got invited to the cookout, and now I saw the video of him hanging out with Wallen, and he's wearing the ball cap. And he's gone fishing, and suddenly he ain't Post Malone now. Now he's gonna be Reynolds Malone or something, whatever his name is. You know what I mean? That's the one that stomps you and cut you up. That's the one. That's the one that was really burnt. Yeah, well, I'm gonna let you in a secret now, and it's no secret. I boycotted anything with Vlad, so it's beneficial. And after that thing with Rodney Jerkins' niece, that was it. So that made it official. Even if somebody that I like that appears on this channel, I'm not gonna even quote them no more. So when I do my own videos, I'm not even gonna acknowledge him. I told you before I had words with Rappaport on X, so I called him out on his jive. So I had some words with him already. I know what time it is with him. It's just that you got us folks in the industry who, somebody white come along and hypes them up and gives them some love, and they be quick to give them love. They don't do that for soul brothers and sisters, but somebody white come along and say, oh yeah, 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 yeah. And they can be the most mediocre buster you can imagine, like Michael Rappaport. Mediocre. You know, they can be mediocre. Be some hustler like Bill Maher. It's always some mediocre white folk come along. Yeah, I usually always do. Well, especially when there's money and politics involved. See, I'd rather have you to be like DeSantis. Get your Junior Whopper Trump on, and then I know what you're about. Those are people who be faking the funk, and then I already thought they were like that, so I wasn't shocked or surprised. It's just the folks that be so quick to have to do business with them. That's all. But Puffy's thinking some mob stuff. Yeah, I thought about what you said, and then when you put it, when I put it in the context with Jerry West, Michael Jordan Iverson, I was like, I guess so. You know, I think it's because he looks like he could burn out any moment. But he is relentless. But I also, to be honest with you, he looks more impressive than Jason Tatum does right now. And I know Tatum ain't played against nobody the first two rounds, but still, Brunson ain't going against two world champion head coaches. I don't know what's going to happen in that game 7. I don't know. I don't know. And they're the only team I've seen that's exposed Denver being flat-footed. Kendrick Perkins said it was going to go 7. He picked Minnesota to win. So if he could be Kendrick Stradamus, he might be. I don't know. That's hard to say. I mean, I'm just going to keep it 100 because the way they got ate up last night, I mean, Denver going to have to you get smashed like that. It's almost like, you know. So I don't know. But that was and Minnesota can get aggressive and they can, because the thing is this, uh, Denver really is missing a cherry picker. They're missing easy buckets. Okay. She called black women it? So I'm out the wrestling loop these days. I don't really. So let me look this up. I will do her. Stratton. Okay, I will. Thank you for this one because I really don't mess with wrestling no more. But I'm not shocked or surprised. I am not shocked or surprised. They've had some real racist ways, and maybe a reason why I don't mess with it. I already had my thoughts, and thank you for that. I had my thoughts and take on Vince McMahon, so I really ain't mess with him. You know, but I will. I'll do that later. I had to do that Puffy video. That was the elder had did it, and I saw it. I said, "Woo, woo." But I wondered, like, who been sitting on it though. It's always in code. The fact that she said the black word. If you say black, you may as well go ahead and say the whole nine, because you're gonna think it. I doubt anything happens to her. Of course she did. Always do. It's just a matter of way of putting it out there. Always do. Tell you anything differently, they lying. Of course she wanted to say it. I already know what they want to say. Yeah. Well, I'll check that out. But anyway, like I said, yeah, I already saw it. I did a video about that. I don't really want to talk about that mess because they jumping the gun. I saw Richard Sherman and Keyshawn and Skip talking about it. And I'm like, we don't know nothing. People get hurt, things happen. How did it turn out last year? That's all I got to say about that. Like I said in the video, look at my video. Mahomes won the chip with not a first tier or second tier receiver. So what does it matter? Yeah, well, I mean, he just has to put on 17 pounds of mental muscle, then he'll be all right. There's a couple of them things he cleans up, and they're in better shape come next year. So, I mean, I think he's going to be all right. And teams are going to come for him, but I think they'll be all right, though. You know, could be a real rivalry between them and Detroit, though. If Detroit ain't a fluke, we'll see. I guess it will. I mean, I'm not really getting excited until it gets closer. We still got NBA almost over and baseball round. I'm looking forward to it, but then I'm not. I'll wait till when it come out. I don't really want to touch it until it's time. You know, that's why I put it all at the time. I don't, because I don't know nothing. I gotta see how what teams add, what they subtract, I don't know nothing. I know one thing, don't bet against Patrick Mahomes. And I know one thing, Lamar is good to great, but there's only one Mahomes. So I'm not gonna put a lot of stock in nothing right now. We're just playing fantasy right now. Well, I'm gonna tell you like this in his defense. There wasn't much to stat pad last night. When you get smashed by 45 points, you ain't stat padding, you just trying to save face to not make it look too bad. But he really had no choice because they really didn't do much. And if you're a Laker fan, you gotta feel like crap because oh, you had your chance. You had your chance. Now I'm not saying anything against Jokic, but them others, especially with Jamal Murray. Well, Aaron Gordon ain't gonna shoot great for 2 straight nights. You do know that. So they self-checked him. I think MPJ is higher than, yeah, I think it is too. But what about KCP? What's his excuse? And the fact that they don't have, um, they don't have any depth. I did my video, and if you looked at my video, you saw what I said. Shoot, they could use Donovan Mitchell too. They don't have no too many easy buckets because once you get past Jamal Murray, you know, they could be in trouble. Well, that's why I told you before he's not first tier with me. That's why I said he's a strong second. Why you think I said that? I don't trust him. He didn't do nothing in Utah. Like you think I done forgot? You think I forgot with him and Gobert? What happened in Utah? And he wanted to go to New York. They didn't want to put no money on him because they didn't believe in him. And they tore their behind up last year in the round, remember? First round. Because Kassim is cuddly and soft. Like I said before, there was a second option. He's the truth. Because you let him score, and he can put buckets on you. But if you expected him to do something, no. No. Uh-uh. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And he probably did quit on him. But they don't exactly, what's whatchamacallit gonna say? Dan Gilbert can't say nothing. Can't say a thing. Can't say a word. Can't say a word. I don't know if they even was starting with him. If you want my honest opinion, I don't think you really believed in him because if you knew him like I know him, you really didn't expect more than what 2 rounds. You call him Mookie Blaylock, and he don't. And I say that because it's all you're gonna get out of him. You get 2 rounds. And I'm gonna tell you a story. He could be playing his best. Boston could have still beaten him with Al Horford and Brown. I mean, White, Jalen, and Al Horford. They didn't even need Jason Tatum to beat them. They weren't gonna come out that serious. Yeah, he was the Junior Whopper Cheese Eyes. Jordan was Cheese Eyes Senior. He was Junior Whopper Cheese Eyes. Mookie looked like he should be making YouTube videos in the hood, thinking like he too short. But he was good for that second round. I know one thing. He keep you in the second round. He might steal the game off you too. I remember back in the 90s, Pearl Jam, they went on tour somewhere and they used the name Mookie Blaylock. That was their stage name for a night. It was hilarious. But what I'm saying is that's what Donovan Mitchell would basically be like. Second round. That's it. You get second round. I mean, he's not the talent as Dame Lillard, but that's what you get, you know. So, but that's what these teams put out there, though. Good rest. You ain't played nobody. They ain't beat nobody. When you beat somebody, you get some rest. The Knicks should win. Pacers got talent, but they too young, dumb, and Rick Carlisle can't teach them how to play half court basketball. So they just play dumb. And they really don't have a leader. They need Reggie Miller to take off the suit and stop slurping the LeBron and come out there and show them how to finish off the Knicks. Because if they had some leadership, they'd beat the Knicks right now. As great as Jalen Brunson is playing, the Pacers ain't got no leadership. And they're just not playing smart. Well, you ain't got that to worry about. He ain't advancing. And I won't look at him as a superstar. He too inconsistent. What's up? And I don't see nothing about him that, you know, when you start using those kind of words, I got to say, ooh, I don't feel that way about Halliburton. I think he's too streaky, and he don't show no leadership. I don't see it. I think he's a good player, but he ain't showing me the next. I don't feel no next with him. They got to get some discipline. They got to get some focus. He's one of those kind of guys. He can put up some stuff. He can have some moments. However, I'm not buying him. Well, yeah. I mean, not only that, but he doesn't pass the rock up. They play dumb. Pascal should be getting touches. They should be making barbecue chicken against the Knicks in the box, and they're playing dumb. So I'm not impressed with what I'm seeing. They don't play no defense. They don't put nobody. Miles Turner should be eating, feasting, you know. So I'm not impressed. They are underachieving, overachieving team, which basically in English, they just a corn flip one way or the other. Not impressed. The East sucks. Okay. I did the video already today. There I said, yeah, you got some good players over there, some great players, but you ain't got nothing over there. You ain't got nothing over there. It's soft, cupcake soft. Yeah, I heard about that, but I'm not no hockey fan, so you talking to the wrong brother. But I know about Overton. But Gretzky was a goat, you know. You know what I say about NHL before you even ask. NHL stands for Negroes Hardly Last. Okay, so before you get into it, I'd like the Sabres from being from Buffalo kind of root, and I know a few cats, but I'm not no hockey fan. I'm not even gonna claim Negroes Hardly Last. It ain't my thing. Gretzky is one of the goats. Yeah. But that should tell you something about him right there. You talking about almost 40 years. But I don't think the white folks gonna be they're gonna keep up with it, but it ain't gonna Gretzky was like a larger than life. So and Gretzky was bad. He was a bad white boy. Yeah. Anyway, like I said, when you see this Puffy video, that's the big thing right now. Mm, mm. She's doing bad. She traveling. Her cadence is off. You saw the one where he went up Cassie and dragged her on the floor like it was a WWF steel cage. Did you see that one that came out today? Because that one don't look good for him. Unless, of course, he can get the Kareem Hunt and the Ray Rice disappearing, then he might. And he might. It don't always mean it just wrecks your career. Kareem Hunt's still playing in the NFL though, but it depends. Yeah, Caitlin Clark, she's because again, they're getting physical with her, and she don't look too good. So they're forcing the issue with her. She's not getting that high screen pick and roll. Yeah, well, when you can't get that break. So, because you know why, that's why. And we're not surprised about it. Because Angel Reese got ball skills and she can move. Caitlin Clark is predicated on that. So, you know, different type of player. But you see how it unfolds. Yeah, I remember Vetti. So I remember. I don't really pay Byron Scott a lot of attention, if you must know. Remember how his Laker tenure started off as a head coach there. It would have been cool with him that he just left with the Nets and that ended bad. But when he got out there and he told them, he says, we don't have to shoot the three ball. And then his butt got fired. No, I don't really listen to Byron. He did. He paid through a lot of pain. Paid through a lot of pain. A lot. I remember, but I don't know what they talking about. I mean, he won a ring in 2010. He went to 3 straight finals. Okay. So before he got hurt, before we got to what was it? What we get to? 20, and they got swept in 2011 and he got hurt. But hey, you know, he did. There's nobody on that Lakers squad that he played with his last few years that was seeing Anthony Davis. So before anyone comes in there and says something, stick to the script. So that's all I got to say about that. Well, he would have beat him with him, or he'd have been beating AD up. Well, he would have put up a better fight. They ain't gonna get beat no 8-2. They ain't gonna be beat 8-1 the last 2 years. I'll tell you that. Ain't gonna be no 8-1. Jokic is beating LeBron. You may as well call him daddy. I don't know about that. I don't think he's gonna pick on no 94 feet. He would he would pick his spots with him. He'd catch him on the top. What he do is that he'd circle him. He try to make him come to the middle and defend him. I don't know if he come 94 feet because you gotta remember what era we're talking about. Depends on what kind of zone they're playing too. You gotta put a lot of factors in. But I know one thing. Um Probably when he used his left hand. Because it never gets talked about. No, I wouldn't say passing. I'd say using his left hand. I think he could pass, but I wasn't blown away. I think the left hand kind of caught me off guard, the way he would utilize it. And I think he always was improvising, you know. But I don't think his passing was an underrated skill. I don't think he emphasized it enough. But he welcomed a challenge, though. And that's one thing I can always respect about him. He wasn't crying and stat padding and hoping someone come and bail him out and go get 30 people. He welcomed the challenge. And I always give him respect for that. So, yeah, he went out better than LeBron. Because LeBron didn't had AD now for what? And they brought in Andre Drummond, and that didn't work out. And they had Russell Westbrook, and that didn't work out. Mm, 05, 04 and 05 were black guys on his career. They didn't make the playoffs post Shaq that first year. He went through a coach and he sulked and he looked bad. And in '06, until he had that big game with the 81, but even his postseason was a black eye. Wasn't until they got Paul Gasol. That was a black eye. Listen, if you're a Laker fan, this there ain't no sympathy. Well, it didn't work. Rudy T was a different type of coach. It didn't work. But that wasn't no that wasn't getting fired as much as it just didn't work. There's a difference, you know. And he tried the D'Antoni system and they were too old. So, it's just the reality. And they tried Mike Brown, and I think Byron Scott was there and all that stuff. They tried different things. It didn't work. Didn't work. Phil was the only one that got the best out of him. There's a reason. Yeah, well, David Stern didn't want it. He called it collusion. I don't know if it would have worked or not because they were older. I don't know if it would have worked. That's in hindsight, it might not have. It's hard to say. And what did he do with the Clippers? Nothing. So I don't know. It happens. You go against some teams, they got, again, she's a target. I never had to apologize to Tarasi. And so I never disagreed with her at all. Would you hear me say anything against that Tarasi? I never said a word. I know what Tarasi meant to the game. I know what she meant when she was playing college basketball. They want the great white hype. That's what they want. They want somebody that they can market you know, and there's politics involved. Oh, it's gonna be around. Oh, well, it was racist. I remember it, but it was racist. Um, Ricky Martin paid his dues, but think about what they did. They called it the Great Pop White Craze. Did they forget about Richie Valens living La Bamba? That was in the 50s. Richie Valens predated Ricky Martin by or what? Almost 40 years when he died in a helicopter. Did they forget about that? Ricky and Mark Anthony weren't the first Latino based artistry. And Carlos Santana had been around since 69, 70. So 30 years predating that. So did I miss something? Did I miss something? You sit there and that racist industry acts like they doing people a favor, like like it's something new. Like no matter where you come down with Gloria Estefan, the Miami Sound Machine, they was doing that in the 80s. I mean, really. He married to Cindy Blackman. She's a drummer. We used to be Lenny Kravitz's drummer. Yeah, he cool. He keep it 100. But my point is, it's an insult to say that your culture is a pop craze. I mean, listen at the logic in that. You know, it's and Carlos will be the first to tell you that Latin music is African music. He'll be the first to tell you that if they care to know. Yeah, I remember. So I will tell you a story about him if you want to know. I watched, what was it, Rocky 5 or was it Rocky 15? It came up back in 90. And they had that one brother who like Don King playing his promoter. And anything, Tommy Morrison was in that Rocky movie. That was the first time I ever saw a movie with a professional fighter. Well, how Rocky beat him in the streets is how you beat Morrison in the ring. He had a lot of pack and punch upwardly, but you could catch him on the back end. And that's what happened. He was a big, strong white boy. He was a good fighter. He wasn't great, but he was good. But the hype was that strong. That's why they had him in the movie. Tommy Gunn. Yeah, the whole thing that happened with him is shrouded in mystery. You know. Yeah, I'll give you that. I think it's because I saw Morrison up close. Got remember, I saw him when he was, coming along, and it didn't last that long. It was all right. Yeah, it was a different era. I mean, again, that's a whole different era back then, because that was like the last of it, and then everything went middleweight, mid '80s onward. Then there's a few heavyweights. I mean, it was a sprinkling, but that was a certain era that, yeah, it was a different day and time, different day and time. And then you almost forget about it because you got a guy like Floyd who dominated for so long that you forget about it. Yeah, I heard about that. Of course it does. I heard about that X's episode. That's the why I read the comments too. Yeah, I heard about that. It always does. It always does. And they know where Tiger is too, but it always does. Yeah. He probably went there and said, "You know who I am?" And they're like, "Oh," and yeah, that's how it goes. You always gonna get that. Of course, they gonna defend him, and it is considered still a white man's domain in that regards to that sport. So I mean, of course, they gonna defend him. That's what I said. Well, it depends on what Tiger comes to play. Tiger had a couple things that they kind of let slide. His car wreck they let slide. So I believe Tiger would have gotten away with a few other things if it wasn't for OJ. Because they in golf he's like the equivalent to OJ. And he's a shrine there. And they tend almost they've taken him in as one of their own. He got a couple of semi booms. Yeah. Well, you can happen. I mean, he had no choice. The way folks turned on him, they turned hard. They turned like a turnover, turn and flip. So you kind of know you ain't gonna get back at the yacht club, and you ain't getting back at the. They done with you. Well, so when they put him on that, what was it? What was that magazine cover where they darkened his skin? And he looked like, I mean, my homeboy was cracking up. This is like Tiger was in D Block. What was it? GQ. And they darkened his skin a little bit. And he had a semi, it's a semi, because they didn't really turn on him all the way, but they did when he had his DUI. And, they kind of came at him a little bit, and he had to go to his sexual, he had to go for his treatment. Wink, wink. So It was a semi. It wasn't the whole hardcore, oh, because no endorsements got pulled. He did get what was it? He did lose a few sponsors. There's a few folks that tripped on him. A few did. But it wasn't like they were done with him. Yeah. He didn't get the full boom. He didn't get the full boom. He didn't get the full boom. Kobe got the full boom. Kobe did that Nickelodeon and he had the Dr. King shirt on and he was crying and they cut him off and he got the boom. But Tiger got the half boom. He got the semi boom. Because you can tell he ain't got the full boom because he still walks around like he's Coca Cabana. So you know he ain't got the full boom. No, no, no. Taking his pops out is a different situation. But he ain't never gotten no, no, no. Because you got to explain how you say that. I mean, he ain't get no semi boom. They made him pay the money, but he didn't get the boom. No, no. I'm going to tell you why. Because I followed it extensively. He was still merched. He was still sponsorable. They played it off really well. They used it as far as Space Jam. It was a boom, but it wasn't. No, let me tell you what the boom would have been. The boom would have been they could have used it as enough to take his career out. See, when you got to understand, when I talk about the boom is when we hit your pockets to the point where you don't come back. Like we take your endorsements. We do you like what happens with Puffy now. Like, okay, we're going to pull all the sponsors. We're not going to play your records. We're going to play your. That's the boom. He never had that. He never had that. Jordan's father was a boom. If you use that, messing with the mobsters and them cats, you use that as a boom. If you talk about him as a Wizards part owner and how that dude flipped him and got him up out the building and when he, and all that to an extent, and that's been downplayed. Again, Jordan is one of the most kept and covered cats ever. That never got the big boom. The whole thing with Juanita catching him on South Beach in '02, walking the beaches with women, that never got the boom. He had to pay. Oh yeah, well that's another. Well, let me finish with Jordan first. He had to pay in one of the highest divorce settlements, but that didn't even get the boom. It didn't work against him like that. No knock against his morality or his behavior. So no moral clauses. So he's been almost unscathed, a lot of ways, he's been covered. I wouldn't even say he got the boom. He knew it was coming. See, when I say the boom, it's for cats like Tim Scott, for cats like Vivi, Vinny Ramsey. That's the boom. He knew it was coming. I'll let you know when you name me somebody black that I say they got the boom. And Vic ain't got the boom. Vic came out of prison, got hooked up by Fox, and got jobs. He won't get no commercials, but he got a corporate sponsor. He still get a job. You still ain't named nobody yet. I'll wait till you name somebody. That ain't it. You ain't even naming the one obvious guys. I can tell you an obvious one. If you want me to tell you an obvious one in the NFL, I'll tell you an obvious one. Because Vic and Tiki, no, they got him up out of there, but he was still a black, Wasn't like he was, crossed over nothing. I'm going to tell you. And it wasn't Cap either, because we saw that coming with Cap. So, they whiteballed him, but that wasn't Cap. I'm going to tell you who got buttered and got the boom, if you're not going to guess it, because you won't. It's your man, Russell Wilson. That's the butter up in the boom. Oh, he had his office in Denver. Oh, he flew special. Oh, he did what he wanted to do. And then here comes old racist Sean Payton in here telling him, no, no boy, no boy. Benched him, ran him out, talked trash to him. That was the butter up in the boom. There you go. That's exhibit 1. Exhibit A. Old enough to delete you. So when you have, you name me some people, I'll tell you when the ones. Yeah, on NFL Network, not for his career. NFL Network, yes. Not for his career. NFL Network, he got buttered up. He got buttered up for his career. Yeah. Mm, I didn't. I don't think Marino got buttered. He was older. And he was, when Jimmy Johnson got there, he was about 14, 15 years into his career. They got their butt waxed by Jacksonville and Denver back to back years in the postseason. They tried that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar running thing that didn't work. I didn't think it would work, and I was glad it was called karma. And the way they ran out Tom Landry, tried that with Don Shula, it didn't work. It was embarrassing. Jimmy Johnson was just mediocre in Miami. Did not work. Yeah, I know Zach Taylor blew up. Jason Taylor and Zach Pack. Well, I used to call him Zach, blew up, but to try to be a power formation team was not believable. Well, that's how Jimmy Johnson got the job in Miami. They tried the same thing when they ran Landry out in Dallas. They tried it with Shula. Same blueprint, except it didn't work in Miami. It didn't work. Yeah, you can look it up. And I think Shula was kind of bitter about it. And I understand. Don Shula should have been able to retire how he wanted, when he wanted, where he wanted. That's why Jimmy Johnson got the hook up in Miami. Except he became very mediocre there. So big difference what he had in Dallas. Let me see. White boys don't usually get buttered and boomed unless, of course, it's like it's different there. Yeah, it is. It's different there. Let me see who I could say is white buttered up, and I would say Jimmy Garoppolo. And they set him up good in Frisco, but everything was set for him, and yeah. And who else would I pick on? When we talk about white, who could I pick on? It's too early to say about Caitlin Clark, but yeah. Yeah. But he had to know, though. Kirk Cousins can't be that naive. I mean, he's injury prone. He ain't that good. He ain't consistent. He had to know. But I don't care though. Ain't no skin off my behind with him. I don't care. But yeah, the whole thing with Shula was what happened in Miami. You read about it. Oh yeah. I mean, who can I pick on? Oh God, let me start. Let me think. I'm gonna think. Give me a minute. I think when Albert Pujols went to the Angels, because it was buttered up for him to dominate, and it didn't come to pass. Yeah, just gonna make the case with Darryl Strawberry with the Dodgers. Um, Alex Rodriguez with Texas, but he got paid, but oh man, it was tough. It was tough. Mm. Mm. You still be hating on that. You still tripping on that. I mean, I already know I'm talking about baseball. I mean, it's a good old boy racket. It's a good old boy racket. Yeah, with Cleveland, why they didn't win a World Series? They had two great cracks at it, and it's just amazing because they had talent. I mean, they were a talented team. It's always politics. I mean, people don't like to admit it, but it happens. That's why Shaq. That's why some people got so mad with Shaq by saying what he said, but Shaq wasn't wrong. It may be worded a certain way. Well, it was his father. Bobby got dissed a lot. That's what it was. And they misconstrue you, and they want you to tap dance and shuffle. That's a fact. If you know how to shuffle and grin, show some teeth, you get over. That's all that David Ortiz been doing. Got him some teeth, and he been grinning. No one talks about his rides. Oh yeah, Bobby was a strong brother. Bobby Bonds wasn't going for it. Bobby was a 5'2". He was a bad man. Oh yeah. Brothers playing baseball 60s and the 70s. Are you kidding? I mean, I'm not making light of you. I'm just keeping it 100. If you know the history, come on now. They hated him. He's got a reason to smile. Team's doing great, and he's he's in a winning situation. I'd be smiling too, because that's gonna be a team of the future. I mean, they make a tweak or two. Yeah, he spoke out about it too. He spoke out about it. He talked about his time in Oakland, Baltimore, and with the Yankees about it. He said that they wanted to buy a baseball team in '05, and they told him they didn't want to sell it to him. Powers it be.
Which league? MLB or Nippon Pro Baseball?
So that's what's up. Yeah. Well, it's a funny story about that one was I remember it was actually in Playboy magazine because Wade did that interview, and Wade's mistress used to be at the game. It was a crazy story. I mean, that's one of the most craziest. That's back when people they wouldn't talk like that today, and if you even had cast that open, it was wild. But yeah, I remember when Wade Boggs did that interview, and he called him the biggest Uncle Tom, and I about hollered. I was like, wow, oh man. And for a white boy to come out and say something like that anytime is like, wow. So it made me sad too, because Jim Rice was a bad player till that brother could hit. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I used to keep up with it out of Kansas City with the Buck O'Neal, because Buck O'Neal thought that brother's gonna live to be like 180. And and of course learned about Josh Gibson back then, and there's so many great talents, you know. Um and all the way to Jackie Robinson coming in and Larry Doby and all those cats that played for Birmingham, Alabama with Hank Aaron and all that. So, you read about those guys that wasn't that far removed. So when you ask me about Bobby Bonds, well, you got to think about this, right? Bobby played in the 60s, 70s. So you got to think about it. He was a kid with what he saw a lot of that stuff going on. And see, sometimes you may think because they integrated that, yeah, oh yeah, you can put them in the GOAT conversation. You think because they integrated, but you got to remember about that one Juan Marcel thing with Rosenberg that the bat, it was real. It was some rawness, rawness. Remember Bowie Kuhn 50 years ago when Hank Aaron tied Babe Ruth's record, hit that home run, he wouldn't even be there for him. Bowie Kuhn. Be a stiff white boy who wore glasses that was the commissioner. So yeah, he look it. It's the hair. It's the hair. His eyes look distinctive too. It was his features. He had that curly hair. But see, if you look more white and you're not a threat, they act like they don't notice nothing. No one's gonna say nothing about that. Just saying. So yeah. And he's one of the greatest hitters ever. So yeah. So Pascal is leading Indiana with 21.3. Jalen's 28.7. 6, 7. So it's almost 29 points and 7 assists and 3 rebounds. Okay. That's for the season. I'm talking about the season. Hilburton 20-4. Yeah. It's an evenly matched series. It's evenly matched. It's just that one team's got smarts and the other plays dumb. Only no. Only you had to have a top tier player with him. I told you that. You gotta have a top tier player. That's the reason why the Pacers ain't gonna win this series because he ain't a top tier player. He can put up some top number. He's kind of got the same disease as Donovan Mitchell's got. Strong sidekick. And it looks like he could be a first, but he ain't quite a first. You gotta be very careful with that. I like him as a number 2. Well, he shouldn't have to do that because Cat should know the importance of the game. The problem is those guys are just too streaky. And you brought up a good point. They needs better cast, but it's hard to find the right people that can balance him up. No, he wouldn't. He'd be the second option. What you talking about? He'd be the second option. KD would score more than Cat do. Cat is a big boy who's somewhere between a 1, 2nd, and a third option. He's a no option. Okay. KD comes to the Wolves. He's the second option. Don't even get it twisted. Cat ain't consistent. KD scores more right now than Cat does right now. It's just that Cat's got that set 3-pointer shot. When I told you that up until a year ago, and even in this playoffs, you don't take them Cats serious because you think they soft like Hostess cupcakes. Of course, KD would be the second option right now. No one is scared of Cat. It's just that Ant and the fact that they score and they move the ball a lot. He's not no second option. Cat's not a second option. You think? Yeah, because he would put body on him. The only problem is that so on offense would be a problem. He'd have a problem because he didn't have enough repertoire. He had a little bit of a shot, but yeah, he'd be a problem for him. He is not consistent though, and see sometimes he gets out of his cadence. That's the only problem with Cat, and that's why you can't take him serious. Well, no, you just asking me different things. Of course, not Duckworth. Duckworth didn't have no offensive game. He couldn't have messed with Jokic. You got to also factor in. You got to be somebody that's got moves, can get physical, can do things. You can't just put anybody. Buck would be a problem because he could get physical. Moses Malone would have been a problem. Elijah one would have been a problem. You got to put somebody against him that could be physical and can rough him up. That's why Anthony Davis ain't in the argument because Anthony Davis has no answer for Jokic. He's cupcake. Sorry. That's your best player, but he's a cupcake. He's a Twinkie. Gotta have somebody in there who knows how to have butt in the glass. Gotta have booty in the glass if you're gonna mess with Jokic. And you gotta wear at him and you gotta hit him. Can't be playing pity pat with him. He slaps. Okay, well, I don't know what he do for. He ain't done it yet. I don't like. I only like him if it's a great series. I don't look at this as a great series. I think they probably the two best teams that are compelling, but I don't look at this as a great series. I think Minnesota should have finished them off in 5 or 6. Denver got fortunate the last three and played enough to win. But I don't think this is a great 7 game series. But I do think they could be the best two teams going in the West because of the size and the potential with Ant and with Jokic. But if it's a legit game 7, this ain't an evenly matched series. It's two flawed teams. And that's what I look at it as. But it's what the NBA wants. They need something like this because it's arguably the finals. I told you it already. And I don't think you'll get another series that'll rival this. I don't think you have two teams combined that's going to be this interesting together. I just don't. This has got the president and yeah, I'll look at that tonight. I'll look at that tonight. What country? Was it in the States? Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here. I'll check it out. Thanks for the heads up. But while I think that I hate to see these teams lose, it's not a classic series though. It really ain't. It's not a classic series. The problem is that Minnesota doesn't have killer instinct, and they're green, and they got a very um, problematic situation. They're missing him more than they did. And I said that in the video. They're missing him more than they thought they did. They don't have the Nuggets really after Jamal, and Jamal's been streaky now because Jamal has put together enough to kind of get a pass because he comes up big, but they really don't have a real legit third option. And that white boy last year was balling last year, and he hasn't really been that big this year. They don't really have a third option. That's why their series could be problematic. I'm gonna tell you, like I say this in English, the best way I know how. I don't have a dog in the race, so it makes me no difference how it turned out, really, because this is the thing. I just want competitive teams, and I think they're the best two that could win the chip. But I'm not. I don't have a dog in the race. I don't have a dog in the race. I think Jokic can solidify his historical place if he goes and finishes it. Well, that's something that you got to discuss with your hero LeBron. It's not about trust. If we talking about trusting, why you still got Kurt Rambis on your squad? The Lakers be doing stuff for things that got nothing to do with basketball. They want to be a made-for-TV show so bad. They want a reality show so bad. That's what you got here. You ain't got nothing to do with basketball. This is just about selling tickets and selling hype. Well, if you're a Laker fan, you'd be putting a bag over your head because it's embarrassing, yo. Like, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. The fact that you even entertaining that puppet as for head coaching job is embarrassing. That's embarrassing. The fact that you are slurping to bring LeBron back for 2 more years is embarrassing. You're not winning a championship. You're not going to get younger. Anthony Davis, he might get hurt a year or two from now. He did a whole lot. Yeah, well, you ain't got that now. And it's a different NBA, too. Cats today don't have to go to the big market to win. See? So that's a problem you in. If he didn't believe in Anthony Davis, yes. If he believed in Anthony Davis, no. That's the best way I can answer that question for you. Because it all comes down to AD. And I've said it before. I've probably been one of the few to say it on this channel. He stunt AD's growth. They don't talk about the obvious. AD get mad at Darwin and get mad at, he don't get mad at LeBron. Why is it always in the fourth quarter? AD's at 32, 33 points, and LeBron's at 19, and then all of a sudden LeBron gets them 11 points and them 3 or 4 assists and them 3 or 4 rebounds and a block or something, and a steal, and then he stat pads, and then AD finishes with 35 points. How do you make it make sense? Killed him off in game 2 against Denver. Killed him off. And if I was AD and Jamal Murray hit that game-winning shot over me, I would have fell in that Nuggets and fell on the Nuggets side, and I would have put my arm in a sling and called it a season because it was pretty much a sling after that. And you lost the game. That was a 2-game swing right there. Because he can do it, because this is the thing. LeBron is like Puffy now. Cat's out the bag. He can't touch it no more. Everything LeBron's trying to do, LeBron's trying to do it in another way. He doesn't have a leg to stand on because they sucked this year. They came up real short, and he looks old. And Anthony Davis couldn't deliver. And they've been trying to sell it on the guard spots and what they got, and it really ain't there. Of course, he can roast him because he looks arrogant and not in a good way. No, arrogance don't usually look good, but it really don't look good when you're not that good. And that's the problem. So he's just doing what the master lets him do. That's all. If they were winning, they wouldn't be up there. But he got the green light because the master's okay with it. That's why Perk can do it. But Paul Pierce actually was doing it more accurately. That's the difference. But it makes no difference to me. I mean, no, I disagree on that. Byron Scott just ain't really got no personality. And he really didn't leave a mark as a coach post net, so that's not being too black. I disagree on that. And same thing with Worthy's just a country brother who talks that barbecue talk. He talks enough what he talks, but he don't really say nothing because he was a team player. So I don't know. No, I don't look at them as too black. No, not either one of them. Mm-mm. Yeah, that's not too black. He wears that purple and gold. Now, come on now, you can do better than that. When you talk about too black, you better start with Sheed and Bonzi. Now, which I watch those cats. That's too black. That's that's too black right there. And I don't always agree with Sheed, but 8 out of 10. Come on now, that's too black. Ain't nothing but Byron Scott and Worthy. Come on now, you know better than that. You've been watching. Mm-mm. I can tell you too black. I can show you too black. That not them cats. Oh man, Latrell Sprewell. I mean, come on now, Spree, because they would never put a mic on him. White boy who'd be considered too white or too black would be Rick Barry. They'll never let Rick Barry get on. That's the only white boy who's, yeah, you can almost make that crazy flip and don't let Rick Barry talk. Oscar Robertson. Mm-mm. None of the old school brothers really. They just talk loud. They ignorant. They talk. They do that Shannon Sharp stick cursing and vulgar. They ain't talking about nothing. They bought and paid off the field. Yeah, well, he don't. He talks articulate. See, most of the cats that are too black are articulate. They don't want no articulate brothers. That's another thing that's too black. And you think about brothers who are articulate and can speak with clear diction. They don't want them. My do Raul, you know, they don't want anyone that's really articulate. Mm, Dr. J won't get that love either. He's a more polished version of what Matt Barnes and Jack do, but he slips. But you know, he is, but he ain't. It's pop accessible. They'll tolerate him. They'll tolerate him. I'm talking about brothers who won't get no job on no TV at all. Pierce will get a job. It's just that he does stupid stuff sometimes, or he'll say something that they gotta check him. I don't look at her as too black. I think she's great at what she do. I don't think she's too black. She slurps LeBron. How's she too black? She ain't never said nothing controversial. You gotta name people who actually say something that deviates from what they want you to say. That's how you get to be two. Not what the people are predictable to say. Now, even though Charles Barkley wouldn't be considered too black, he did say what he said about LeBron. He said, it's not these coaches' fault. Your team suck. That's real talk. But he has a comedy side of him and it catchy that gets over. But you gotta pick people who would actually say something that you go, uh-oh. And you ain't got nobody out there. Now I'll give you somebody who might be a uh-oh would be Rondo. And Rondo's knowledgeable. Rondo should be a coach. But they ain't gonna let Rondo get up there. But Rondo would speak his mind. Yeah, Ray John Rondo. I ain't stutter. Rondo's smart, yo. But Rondo talk that yak though. You know. Yeah, Ray speaks his mind. They're not gonna let him get in either. I'm not gonna say he's too black, but he's too dignified for what they putting down. But he does speak his mind, and he is social too. They're not gonna let him get up there. You got guys who are hood black and they black, but they not a threat. Like Gary Payton, you know, Charles Oakley knows how to articulate. Now, Tim Hardaway Sr., they'll not let him freestyle too much because he already lost it when he called out, what he said. So there's some cats ain't gonna never get the mic. He barely got in the Hall of Fame because they sure made him wait like a pig and slop. They was making him wait. Yeah, that's some truth to that. Kid could articulate, but there is some. But see, can't even say they too black because I watch Haslam, Udonis. Udonis, they all he's smooth with it too. And that's my JJ Redick. He said they may not believe him. He's smooth with it. They polish you up, you know. But there's some cats you already know they ain't getting on no TV time. And believe me, everybody that they get as a player or some personality, they actually interview them and they watch them. They watch them. He got on TV. He just didn't get no endorsements. He got on TV. Now I'm talking about cats that don't get no love. Did you see Ben Wallace on TV? Come on now. I'm talking about, I'm going at. Come on now. Think about the cats I'm talking about, the real ones. I ain't talking about cats that got on. I'm talking about the cats that you just, they not letting them even near a microphone. You know, you got to understand the game. So if you ain't ready to show no teeth, he'll get on TV. They'll let him talk. They let him talk. Think about Adrian Dantley. You got to get warm with this one. It's some obvious cats. Meta was middle of the road. Middle of the road. I got about 5 more minutes before I call it a night. Yeah, he'll never eat. He still looks the same too. I saw a video of him recently. He still looks the same. But now he'll never get no love. Mm-mm. No. Yeah, he gets love. He gets love. Yeah, it's just that most of the time he acts like a crackhead, that's all. And he doesn't really utilize his gifts. So busy running for them streets that he got lost. So yeah. Anyway, I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. I'll cut a little bit short tonight. I'm gonna go get me something to eat on. But I'm glad you came through. Always it's great conversation, great questions. I'm gonna check out them videos that you recommended because I'll probably get in on them tomorrow. I'll definitely have a take on this game, and we'll see how things go. But yeah, think about some of the people I'm talking about because you're gonna know the ones that they don't that had success, but they don't really touch. Those are the ones that's too black, not the ones that always, because it ain't always about the cast that scare them in the imagery. Articulate scares them too. They don't put enough about a Junior Bridgman on TV. Guys have been very successful too. They have a way that they want to stereotype people, so they shy away from certain people on purpose. But the league knows, people know. I always told you the NBA stands for Negroes Be Acting, and there's a lot of that goes on. It's a lot of politics, politics. So that's the real. But anyway, I'm gonna call it a night. Appreciate coming through. Conversation, words. Stay up, stay safe, stay strong. I should be back in 24, God willing. And it's been cool. It's been real. So thanks always and appreciate your support, man. Stay up. All right, I'll catch you. I'm gonna bounce now. Peace out.